And now for my next number, I'd like to return to the
classic. Time.
All right, let's get into this. A new day, a new vinyl haul. This one is not as big as the other hauls I've had in the past. I've kind of cut down a little bit, which is a good thing. I like cutting down. Despite the fact that there's many albums out there that I want. I keep finding albums that are on my wants list, and it was a recurring theme when I was in the States. I found a lot of stuff that was on my wants list that I forgot was on my wants list, because they've been on there for a couple of years and I've never seen them. So what I did was I forgot about them, and then I tend to think about the things that are higher up on my wants list because they tend to be the things that are newer on there. So there's a few things here I've been looking for a while, and three, I'm going to say new albums, because one's a brand new reissue. One came out earlier this year, and then one came out last year, but I never picked it up. So I'm going to get to those, but first what's playing in the background, if you can hear it, is HNIC by Prodigy of Mobb Deep. One of my favourite Prodigy solo albums. Very good solo albums, so love that one. Would love that on vinyl, but I'm not made of money. I think I might have a reissue. I don't know. I haven't really looked too much into it, but I'm not that bothered because there's other things I want, like what I'm about to show you here. So you saw from the intro that I saw Anderson .Paak live in concert, and that wasn't too long ago. And when I was there, me and my boss from the record store, we were able to meet a distributor and of these, and we picked up a few of these. Oxnard by Anderson .Paak, but it's the clear vinyl version of this album. Now the only other place that does this particular copy of the album, the clear version, to my knowledge, is Urban Outfitters. There it is, on clear. I love clear vinyl, so anything on clear wax, I'm gonna grab it. I'm sorry for those who don't like clear vinyl. I like it. I'm a fan. But yeah, we managed to grab those, and we actually ended up in the VIP area after the gig, playing a bit of backstage ping pong. So that was a nice experience. But yeah, Anderson .Paak, Oxnard, brilliant album. Actually, after hearing a lot of the songs off of this album live, it really did move this album up in my eyes, because before I wasn't a big fan of it when it came out, but now I'm a huge fan of this album. So yeah, there's that one. Oxnard, Anderson .Paak, great album. Love that. The next one I have here is a bit of British hip hop, if I can get my words together. This is Ocean Wisdom by Wizville. And again, I screwed that up. It's Wizville by Ocean Wisdom. One of my favorite British rappers, very much like, I would say, British Gang Starr. Some of his songs are smooth, some of his songs are not, but there's a song on this album that he did with Method Man, and then another song he did on here with Just a P that are my two favorite tracks on the album. I'll try and get Needle Drops in here if I can, no promises, but yeah, this is a fantastic album. I love it. Yeah, it came out last year, so definitely worth checking out if you're trying to delve more into the British hip hop kind of things. And this isn't like your typical British hip hop, this is actual hip hop. Like, not grime or not poppy stuff. This is genuine boom bap styled hip hop, but with British rappers.
Digging in a rock, trying to see something shiny and the one digging with discipline and I'm visioning. Bigger picture wanna mirror it, I'm not a copycat, but the classmates one copy man. I had to camouflage a little bit, I feel a little violated. If I'm honest, and a nigga looking at me in the wrong way, going one way. I'm on a runway, I'm on a plane now, going somewhere. They wanna level with me, that's someday. I'm on big business, so with the pen and pad, they couldn't live it into man. A little man, a man for little fish, I'm kinda oceanic. Did you get my drift on a dip, new starting on a high seat in a new style, that's my wave. I recruit what I spend, I ain't really trying to lose nothing, I'm done. What the whole thing's done. The whole thing's done. Done, diggity done. Look at the thump, look at the gun, look at the run. Back in the tracks, back in the basement, back in the rap, back in the track, back in the back of the act. Roll on it, so instant. Incidents, for instance, when I roll with my roll, it's so instant. Victims, full victims, when they roll on their own, it's so instant. Option A, man's rolling. Option B, I couldn't be a next side man strolling along with a crew whose goals all revolving around not saving or folding, plus all in good time, then bad actions. Once we found engulf him and stealing for 2 weeks to beef, that's not ocean. I cut ties like joking. Build bridges and approach them. If they give way, I bolt them. And when I'm strolling too close to them, they give way and ask why it's so easy to get over them. I ride too close to the wind, got a big close to them, and dangle too close to precipices to be low for it. I'm hiking through the scene up on the edge and view so sweet into the ground beneath, I could never be seen.
The next one is actually my most recent pickup, and it's a reissue. The reasoning behind this, why I picked this up on reissue, is because one, it's an album I've wanted for a long time. It's an artist I would say I'm a casual collector of, but when they announced that they were reissuing this, I had to jump on it, because original copies of this, I've seen them go for triple figures. The album is Silver Vibrations by Roy Ayers. Now, the label that pressed this reissue up is called Barely Breaking Even, or BBE for short. And what they do is they make DJ-friendly vinyl pressings. So basically, it's a double LP, but there's only 2 tracks per side. And there's a little story down here of Roy Ayers and his story. Both double LP, 180 gram vinyl, custom label, Uno Melodic Records, but then with the BBE logo at the bottom of the label there. Obviously originally from 1983. Great jazz funk album, absolutely love this album, so had to grab the reissue of this. It was a bit more than maybe I would have wanted to pay for a regular reissue, but then I sat and then as I thought about it, I realized that this label only do very limited quantities of their pressings. So if you don't get on them quick, you're not getting a copy. So I had to grab this one. Super nice, super great quality pressing. It sounds great. Yeah, just absolutely brilliant. So super happy to have this Roy Ayers album finally in the collection. What next? Hip Hop 12-inch. I'm slowing down a little bit on these because there's less and less that I'm finding, especially here in the UK. Hip Hop 12 inches, you find them all the time, but they're not necessarily good ones. But this is a song I had to grab because it's one that, when it first came out, I remember I loved the song and I forgot how much I loved it, so I picked up this 12-inch. That's Head Sprung by LL Cool J. The song came out, I think, 2004 off of his 10th studio album. But again, LL Cool J stuff after Mama Said Knock You Out is very hit or miss kind of stuff, but this is one that I absolutely loved when I first heard it for the first time. I think this is one of the first songs that really got me into, oh yeah, I like LL Cool J's music, so I had to pick that up. Nice original copy of that 12-inch. I picked up an upgrade copy here because, the copy of this album I had before, the vinyl was still not that great, but it was still perfectly playable. It just still wasn't in great condition after how many times I played the album. And the cover, from where I used to store my collection in like one of them seats that you can, one of them square seats you can actually store stuff in. It was big enough for records, so I just put a lot of my early collection in there. And the spine of the album had actually got bleached over time and turned white instead of the yellow that it's supposed to be. Album in question is Genesis' self-titled album from 1983. Showed this in my favorite albums of 1983 video. Easily one of my favorite 80s albums. I do love later Genesis. Not too big on the earlier stuff, but the later stuff, I love it. So had to make sure I had a nice reissue of this. And this is one of the first albums I heard from this time period that really got me into, like, outside of hip hop, is like one of those albums that I listened to and just like, wow, this is really good. So yeah, Genesis' self-titled album, upgrade copy from me, so super glad to have that. Nice copy there. Little bit of power pop here. I don't pick up too much power pop because I don't know enough about it, but this is one where I knew enough about to pick it up, and that is Belinda Carlisle, Heaven on Earth. Let me take it out of the plastic cover real quick. You can see a little bit of damage on the cover there, but it's like I always say, no matter how hard you try, you just cannot play that vinyl with that jacket, so it doesn't matter to me. Original inner sleeve, look how good Belinda looks in that photo there. I mean, she was maybe in her late 20s when she put this album out anyway, so I mean, she still looks decent now at 60, but she looked damn good back in the day. So yeah, Belinda Carlisle, Heaven on Earth. Had to grab it just because just for the song Heaven is a Place on Earth. Like, that's maybe one of my favorite 80s songs of all time. So, yeah, nice original copy of that. It's always an album that I tend to find cheap, but less and less of them I see are around now because of the 80s resurgence that's going on here in England at the moment. So I had to grab that while it was available. Here's one that I haven't listened to yet, but this is next on my list. This is The New Birth. It's been a long time. Of course, I showed one of their albums not too long ago, and you guys probably didn't even notice it because they flip-flopped between names in the early 70s, because before they were known as The New Birth, they were also known as The Nightlighters. At the same time they were known as these guys, but it doesn't matter. This is a nice, I believe this is, no, this is a British issue, but this is on the orange, excuse me, RCA label. I think I'm going colorblind if I can't tell the difference between red and orange, but yeah, there is that one. Super nice to grab that. I love The New Birth. I love anything this band's ever done. So, and actually, it was actually Wu-Tang Clan that introduced me to this band, because they famously sampled a song from the New Birth called Honeybee on their debut album. So I had to grab. So anything by The New Birth at this point, I'm going to grab it. So love this band, and I haven't picked up anything from them for a while, so I had to grab that one. The last thing I'm going to show you is another classic 80s album that I showed on Facebook recently, and it got a lot of people's attention because of what label it was on. The album in question, of course, is Love at First Sting by the Scorpions. Showed this in my last video, really picked it up just so I could do that video, but this is a really nice copy, but I'm still trying to figure out what pressing of this album is, because it's either, I mean, on the jacket it could either be British, it could either be Swiss, or it could be Germany. I know the band is German, so I don't know what label, what it could be pressing of, but again, I'm not an expert, so I can't really tell. I have Discogsed it, but you know, I didn't do my research before. But the label in question that actually caught people's attention was the Harvest label, which I don't know how rare it is, but I know I've never seen this on Harvest. I've only ever seen it on the Fame label, so picking it up on Harvest was a nice little thing for me, so I had to grab that. Well, not a big fan of metal or hard rock, whatever you want to put this album under, but love the song Rock You Like a Hurricane, and the rest of this album really took me by surprise, so had to grab this one for the collection. So yeah, that is it, guys. That's everything I've picked up. I think in the last, I think that's just a week's worth of stuff there. It's not been that long, actually, but I did go a while without picking anything up because I wanted to make sure that I picked that up at the gig, which I think I actually picked it up just before the gig, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, that is it, guys, for this video. Thanks for tuning back into the channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I really could do with the help. I've been in the VC almost 2 years, and look at my subscriber count. Please help me out, guys. But with that, I am going to sign out, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Peace.